Hey folks, I had a problem with one of my zone control valves, so I wanted to go over it with you. And I do have a review of this product. You can see it's different than these honeywells. I'll show you that, what I bought and what it is. But I wanted to go over the zone control valve with you so you can see how it works, because you're going to need to know that if you buy this product. So it's a little how it works and a little bit of a product review here today. So let me show you what goes on. You have your thermostat, zone control valve, and here I have my meter, and it's set up to tone when the switch gets activated. And you'll see what I mean a little further on in the video. So let's say you're sitting home, your wife gets a little chill, she runs over to this thermostat and cranks it right up. So you'll see it activated the zone control valve, and you'll see in a second you hear the tone. Now instead of a tone, what would happen would be your boiler would be going off right now because it's calling for heat. And I'll show you what's going on. We'll take a little closer look at the zone control valve in a minute. So let me take the cover off this so you can get another look at it. You can see you have two yellow wires, two red wires. And this is all alternating current, so it really doesn't matter which way they're hooked up, as long as they're hooked up to the right spot. So, let me see if I can get this. I'll take this off of here so you can get a better look. So what happens is, when you activate that thermostat, or turn your thermostat up, you can see this little flapper's moving up, and it's going to hit this micro switch. When it hits that micro switch, the switch is on. It's no different than like a light. It's either on or off. You can see I just turned the thermostat down, so now it's coming back down. That's what turns your boiler on and off. I'll show you again, just a little more of a close-up view so you can really see what's happening. Now I just turned the thermostat on. You see that flapper's coming up. It's coming up. Now it's going to hit that micro switch. Now you'll notice it's the two red wires that are being switched on and off. And they go to your boiler. I'll show you. As you can see from my zone control valves, I have the red wires are coming down. They go to this big bird's nest, work their way down these wires. You can see they come along, come along, come along. And they make their way into the aquastat. So they make their way into the aquastat, and I'll show you where they're connected. They're connected down here, and it's labeled with a T. There's two connections, both T and T. It doesn't matter which way you hook those wires up, because all you're doing, it's like a light switch. I said it's either on or off. So now I'll show you again. I've got this rigged up to my aquastat. So you turn the heat on. The aquastat is, the zone control valve is activated. It's going to hit that micro switch in a second, and the burner is going to kick on. Now let me turn that off. All right. Now I'll show you the rest of this and what's going on with it. So as we saw, when you turn on the thermostat, or turn up the thermostat, it calls for your heat. And we saw how it kicked the boiler on and off with the little micro switch that's located up here, controlled by these red wires. So I want to show you what else goes on with this. And what else also happens is in here, it controls this valve. It opens and closes a valve inside here. Which there's a little red rubber ball in there, or a little ball in there. I guess you can see it. And that zone control valve actually moves this back and forth. Actually opens it up when it calls for heat and lets the water flow through. Now you can see the so it turns that shaft, and there's a ball in there, and that's the valve which lets the water flow through. I'll see if I can show you that working. So that's opening, it's letting the water through. When it gets closer, it stops the water flow. So when you turn your thermostat on, kicks the boiler on, boiler's making heat or hot water. This valve opens and lets it flow through, and that's what goes up to your radiators and heats your house. Now you may notice I'm using a wrench on this. It really shouldn't be that hard to move, and that's what my problem was with my zone control valve. This is kind of frozen up, and it turns very hard. So what happened, it got stuck open. So whenever any other zone in my house was calling for heat, it was also supplying heat to my first floor. And it was getting really hot up there. So I knew something was wrong, because I had the thermostat turned down and it just kept getting hotter and hotter. So that concludes how a zone valve works. I'll get into my product review now. And the reason how the zone valve works was important. You'll see why in this product review. So I bought this zone control valve off Amazon. As you can see, it's all the wires are bundled together in that wire whip there. So that zone valve cost me about probably less than half of honeywell zone valve will cost. But I'll show you the insides. Now here's the one I bought off Amazon, and here's the original honeywell. You can see they're both very, very similar, almost identical. I'll show you something else. These are held on by 2 screws. One on this side, one over here. Then there's that stem I was telling you about. I mean, this one I can turn with my fingers. The other one I had to use a wrench on. So that's how I know it was stuck. But what I wanted to show you, got to get a Phillips screwdriver. you look at how similar, I mean, not just similar, they're identical. The one I bought off Amazon and the Honeywell. And they're even interchangeable. I'll show you. I could put the Amazon one right onto the Honeywell one. Just got to get the shaft lined up properly. I'll just do the one screw here. But it screws right on and everything. So if all you need was the, I'll call this the power head. If all you need was the power head and you didn't need the valve, you could replace it with the Amazon one. No problem. I'll put this back together and then I'll show you the wiring. Before I put it together, I just want to show you how easy this turns. I can turn this with my fingers. I don't need a wrench. It's really smooth. Feels like nothing. It's putting no resistance on that motor at all to open and close that valve. And that's what you want. You want it smooth and working right. I also want to show you how it's different than the Honeywell. If you look on that little micro switch, the wires it's gray and orange. And then for the motor switch, it's blue and brown. That's blue and brown are for the motor. So if you remember when I was showing you the how it works part on the Honeywell, you got 2 yellows and 2 reds. The reds are going up to the micro switch, which turns on the boiler. So it's not that hard to put on the shaft. You just have to move it back and forth a little bit, get it lined up with the shaft, and then you'll see it goes right in. So tighten those screws up. Now, if you remember what I was just showing you, the wires on the replacement one I bought off Amazon come in this nice wire whip. I think it makes a neater install. Looks better than just a bunch of bare wires running down. I mean, I guess you can wrap them with electrical tape or whatever and make them look similar to this. But I think the wire whip looks a lot nicer. So, like I was saying, you got the micro switch has different color wires. So you got the blue tying in with the rest of the yellows over here. Then the brown, this is the power from the transformer for the thermostat. And then you got your reds tied together, which are kicking on and off your boiler. So the one from the one I bought off Amazon is gray. And also the orange. Once you get those tied in, you have it all figured out. This switch has been pretty good. Like I say, it's almost identical to the Honeywell one. It's half the price, or a little less than half the price, and so far it's been working really well for me. I've had it running for about 2 months now. So we'll see how it works out long term. Thanks for watching my video.